Coming to you from Strings and Things Studio in Ventura, California, I'm Karin.
I'm Kaity.
Hey, man.
And this is the Strings Unraveled podcast. Happy June, everybody.
Happy June.
Oh, we're actually recording in the month that we will be releasing it.
Yeah.
What?
We're not in the future or past or
Past.
whatever.
Looking to the future.
Yeah. How's it going? How's everybody
It's good.
doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah. Good.
I like gray,
Me too.
but it's getting to be a bunch.
I am so
Perfect.
tired.
I'm kind
of
of
the gray.
I love it sometimes, and then I don't love it. But it's like, you like the coolness.
I want some gosh darn sunshine.
But you like the coolness, right? Because it makes the ice even better. No.
I mean, it's fine. I'm just tired. I don't live in Southern California. Somebody told me today that they didn't pay the sunshine tax for nothing. It's like, I want to have the sunshine that I pay a lot of money to enjoy.
That is true. That is true.
But our taxes don't really cover that.
Plenty of sun.
I know.
I know. I
play.
hesitate to complain.
July to August. Or it's October.
I want my sun from May to August, and then I want my fall from September to like November. But that's not where we live. But I complain every year about it, so we're Californians. That's what we do.
Don't complain that it's hot in October. That's my
No.
one. That's my one new goal is to remember that October will be the hottest.
Yeah, why do we forget every year?
I don't know.
Not like we
Well,
haven't
wait,
lived here forever.
October shouldn't be the hottest.
But it is.
No,
It always
August,
has been.
September.
Usually September, October. But yeah.
There is what should be and what is.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in reality if reality doesn't let me have the weather I want.
That's exactly how I feel right now when I want some gosh darn sunshine. Oh, well, who wants to jump into what they're working on today? I guess I could go first.
Yay!
I have like zero knitting mojo lately, like
Aw.
none. And it happens every once in
Yeah,
a while, right? You just
totally
don't feel
does.
like it.
Yep.
I haven't really felt like knitting or crocheting, and I don't. None of my projects, well, I should not say none because I have hundreds of projects, but none of the projects that are like easily, readily available are like simple enough that I could just like zone out and not do anything,
Do them. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, because, sometimes at night I'm like, I want to do something, but I don't want to think about anything.
Right?
So I went into my stash and I pulled out a special skeiny yarn. I bought it in Ireland on our last trip. It's
so pretty.
I bought it in Galway, and it's just a fingering weight,
It's such a
Donegal
rich,
tweed.
It's kind of navy, but not navy.
I
Yeah.
almost thought it was black before I really looked
Yeah,
at it.
it's like a deep navy. It's got little flecks of little tweedy bits in it, and I cast on just a sock head hat, which takes forever to knit, but it's like
But it's
perfect,
easy.
because I don't have to think.
Yeah.
So just a nice little treat project that's nothing complicated that I have to think about. I worked a little bit on my far away sweater this month, but I haven't made much progress on it. And in my void of knitting, I have been doing diamond painting, which is
You've done that, haven't you?
Yeah, it's fun.
It's an art form that I like. I don't love the art that I come out with. Like, I think they could be very cheesy. And like, I'm not going to hang it on my wall, maybe in my office, but like, maybe not in my home. But they're very satisfying to do. And it's sort of like, it's like cross stitch, like, is how I feel about it. But it's simpler than that, because I don't have to like thread my needle, cut my yarn. Like, it's just like paint by number. It's no brainer. So that's sort of like what I have been doing at home in the meantime, is that I've just, plug away on that, and it's something for my fingers to do when I don't feel like doing anything. It's also, I was talking to somebody this week about knitting and how I've reached a point in my knitting where I don't feel like I can zone out and knit and like only focus on that, because I feel like my brain is broken. I'm also need to listen to a podcast or listen to a book or watch a movie. Like, it's not engaging enough to be the only thing. And like, I would love to sit and knit in quiet without any, maybe some music on or whatever, but I just get bored sometimes.
Yep.
And for whatever reason, the diamond painting is, like, engaging enough that I can focus on that. I don't need music or a podcast or anything.
Mm-mm.
And I feel like that's good for my brain to not have 3 different distractions at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So that is what I have been doing in the meantime. So,
It's fun.
yeah, it's been fun.
I'm so close to finishing the one that I started in 2020, but I haven't touched in 2 years.
That's fair. I
But-
finished.
It's
But
the last 2 inches on a sleeve.
I think about it because it is. You get in this zone of
It's very
picking up
zen.
a color. It is very zen and
Yeah.
relaxing. And I've felt so overwhelmed lately. I think I'm going to pick mine back up.
Yeah, I started with this kit from paint. Wait, oh shoot! Now that I said it, I can't remember. I'll look it up.
Mhm.
But they were little mini canvases, and they're like 3x4.
Do they advertise on Instagram?
Yes. So they're the ones that I originally bought from, and you do like themes. So I bought their national parks kit,
Oh, fun.
and it's like 12 different little mini canvases, and those were fun. I did all those, and then I have finished one sort of larger one that's maybe like 10x12, and I'm working on another one that is, I think, probably about 12 inches square or so. But yeah, they're
I applaud you
good zoning out.
for not saying, I'm going to do this, so I'm going to take the biggest one possible.
No, I knew that was not
and
going to be a
that's
good
why
idea.
I haven't finished.
No.
Well,
Smaller
it's
ones.
just your
Smaller
2
is
different
so much
approaches.
better.
Yes.
Like,
No.
Katie is usually, I'm going to put my toe in.
Yeah,
Bite size, but you're a big picture.
Jump in.
There
Jump
are
in the
really-
deep
It's
end.
cool.
They're
but
really
Katie
super
finishes
cool,
things.
that's because I
She
bought the
also-
tiny one.
She also doesn't finish things.
That's
which
true.
was the point of the whole pile of knitting projects.
Yes.
Which in
Yeah.
itself can be just burdensome.
Yeah.
Like when you have a whole bunch of unfinished whatever,
I don't want to think
it
about
feels
them.
like a weight.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I have been doing mostly at like in the morning. If I can like sit for half an hour, and like, do that, then it's been good. I've been reading a little bit. So I logged out of my personal Instagram account on my phone. I didn't delete it or anything, but like, and I don't remember what the password is, so I would have to like work to go back into it. So I don't like just spend hours scrolling on Instagram every night.
We're in like a similar like vibe there because I took it off my homepage.
Yeah.
And so now it's
Small steps.
it's like I have to do a lot. It's much more conscientious if I'm going to open Instagram, and it's
Right.
definitely helped me decrease the amount of time I'm on there.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was like, if I opened up my phone, I'm like, oh, what's the weather going to be like today? I would start on Instagram, and then I would forget what I was doing, and I had been scrolling for 10 minutes, and it's like, I gotta put this down, and then I'm like,
Yep.
oh, I forgot to look at what the weather was supposed to be today.
Yeah,
But, yeah. So that's what I'm working on.
that's fine.
And what are you working on?
Well, I have been working on my hats for Year of Hats.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm working on the August one, which is a stranded hat with what is this cute?
I like
this
that
called?
braid
What is the
looking
braid
thing.
called?
A Latvian braid.
Thank you. Has Latvian braid.
Love
and
it.
then a cute little, which is a very fun braid if you've never done it. It's like chaos making over 2 rounds. Like there's a setup round and 2 rounds where you twist the yarn in such a way to make this pretty braid. And halfway through when you're done with the first of those 2 twisting rounds, you think that you have ruined your yarn and that this is never going to work out.
Mhm.
And then you do the second round and it untwists itself, and it's really pretty impressive. I'm treating all the hats as what I call living swatches.
Uh-huh.
This hat's going to be big.
That is a big hat.
It's only 22 inches around.
I was going to say, you're married to a person with a big head, so
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, but he wouldn't wear a hat this warm. But one of the other 2 people with big heads in my family would probably. It's about, it'll fit. It's not huge,
No.
But
but it's not as comfortable as I would like. I usually like a 20-inch hat.
it's cute.
But I
the
can
ni-
reverse the colors and make it smaller.
The nice thing about that hat, though, is because sometimes stranding can feel a little stiff, and so having it a little bigger means you can wear it comfortably without it cutting the circulation around your forehead.
Yeah, which that's not fun either.
Cool.
And I knitted away on our little trip that we took.
Mm-hmm.
And did not bring my sewing machine. And I wasn't even jealous that you guys had your sewing machines because I really wanted to do my knitting. And I was knitting and reading and make like big progress on a book that was interesting. But I saw this fun quilt pattern while we were in one of the shops. And it was right up my alley. But I didn't buy it because I didn't have my sewing machine, and I knew it was the kind of thing like if I bought, I want to do right away. Or I would buy it and be excited about it for a day and then never make it.
Yeah.
It's Cozy Cabin, my Modernly Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's a good test to see, like, if you really like something, if you make yourself wait for it, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's digging in a bag.
So she must have liked it.
Yes. So I kept thinking about it. And the thing I really found appealing about how she presented the yardage is it's designed to buy short, fat quarters.
Okay.
Which
Oh.
I think is a very appealing way to present how to get my whole bunch of, variety of fabrics. Because fat quarters are approachable.
Yeah.
So the bigger story of enjoying this quilt pattern will be in What Have You Finished? But it's a log cabin with a star in the center.
Cute.
That's pretty.
I feel like I own this pattern, but I don't think I've made it.
It's quite fun.
Oh, that's
Nice.
really pretty. I love because the log cabins form the corners around the star.
Well,
Sort
you
of.
might not know this about me because I don't quilt that much, but log cabins are my ultimate favorite.
Yeah.
Knitting and sewing.
Yes. Well, I mean, it's just the most appealing quilt pattern to me as well. Always has been. My mom had these. There's a designer out there who has like 2 compendiums of all the log cabins that ever existed.
Wow.
And I used to pore over those and imagine, because when they come together, they're so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very appealing traditional quilt pattern to me. And then the stars are fun. And what's neat about this is the way she seats the stars. The points don't they're kind of
matter.
sitting in the middle of the field.
Love that.
So you don't have to match them up throughout the entire block. There's places where the points kind of matter, but it's very forgiving for how your points end up.
Nice.
So this one's mine. It has a pink background, and it has teals and greens and peaches and a bunch of fruit motifs in the patterns. So it's very much my colors and my favorite foods.
I like the scrappy, all the fun colors in it.
So there's 12 prints on a pink background.
Nice.
And it's very fun. And then I found this Frida Kahlo fabric that I was very fixated on. Now those are all fat quarters from Joanne.
Uh-huh.
And it's one of their cheap cottons.
Yeah.
This is going to disintegrate in not long. I already know that. So then I go and buy a $12.99 a yard fabric to back.
For the backing, yeah, of course. Maybe that'll help hold it together,
That's what I'm thinking.
Give it a good foundation.
That's what I'm thinking. So I didn't buy the one I thought I wanted first. It has big, Frida faces.
Uh-huh.
This is more of like an all-over print with
it's perfect for
like
those colors.
animals in her.
It has almost every color in your fat quarter.
So
I
it
mean,
really
every
works.
single color.
Yeah, and if I ever turn my quilt over,
Yeah.
I can just enjoy this whole cloth.
Yeah.
of it's an Alexander Henry print.
Very
I
cute.
love it.
Called Deer Park De Leon Design Group.
Nice.
So I'm very excited about that.
Love that.
It is lovely.
And because once you cut it out, the assembly's not that.
Yeah, they go
Intense.
kind of quick.
And then just kind of a pretty burgundy to go all the way around it. And those are the things I'm working on.
Nice.
My hats and that quilt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Karen, what are you working on?
I had startitis this month.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Happens all the time.
Some of the things
You
I've
mentioned
been,
during book club you'd had a very productive month, so I've been eager to hear.
as far as mostly starting stuff.
That's productive.
That's what we're going to talk about now.
And cutting out fabric. Okay, so starting at fabric, and of course I left it in my room. But when we were on our trip, I got the fabric to make that. It's just big 10-inch blocks and 5-inch blocks.
Mm-hmm.
So to the side to make these rectangular shapes, all in coffin plaids and all kinds of, not just coffin plaids, but all kinds of flannel plaid fabric. And the backing is that ginormous panel of the national parks. And I decided that would be my husband's birthday / Father's Day gift, since his birthday is really close to Father's Day. We're probably going to celebrate them together. And it's a big project, so it's okay to give him one big thing for both. because he'd been asking for a bigger quilt. And the first one I ever made for him, I kind of over quilted it. And you know, when you put way too many, all the fluff of a quilt pretty much gets flattened down if you over quilt it.
Mm-hmm.
So this one will have a little more fluff to it, even though it'll be cotton on cotton on cotton. And I'll probably, this will get me to get that Kaity frame out.
Cutie?
I
Oh,
have
your
I have a
quilting frame?
I have a quilting frame that's a tabletop, and I put it together, and I kind of like swirled it around, but I didn't actually put my machine or do it. I haven't actually used it yet.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, yeah, they have these accessories. I can't get an accessory till I actually use it at least once to see if
Try it, you know?
Yeah. And so that'll be the thing that I'm going to try it on.
Nice.
And since I only have like a couple more weeks.
Yeah.
So the squares are almost all made, and then I'll have to lay them out and just put them in. But they're big. I really like this idea of big squares.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's making it go fast.
Mhm.
Are you... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, I was
What's
going to
your
say,
question?
you're putting batting inside?
I am going to put batting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know that he wants it to be cuddly.
Oh, okay.
And if I just did the flannel and the other, it's a little too thin. He likes it to be a little
more squishy.
especially since I'm gonna just do in the ditch or close to. I'm gonna just
Yeah.
outline
And if it's a
the
camping
shapes.
quilt, you probably want a little heavier, right?
exactly.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, because hopefully we'll be able to take that camping. And then I'm working some more on the sweater, the not La Bien. I mean, that's the yarn. That's the yarn for the other one, the La Prairie.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm almost through the second fade, and I'm just about ready for. I'm almost to the part where I can set this aside and pick up for the fronts, which I hear the group is already doing.
They are. I've helped 2 or 3 people do it so far, so
Yay!
it's time. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a group that doesn't wait for the class, but that's fine. There's a lot of stitching on size 2.5 needles, so I let them just go as fast as they want to go because it's a lot to get accomplished in there.
I feel like I'm knitting one of these too.
Yeah.
With all of the
That's
with all of the helping I have done this in the last couple weeks. I'm like, I don't need to make one of these.
Yep.
I don't want to make one of them, but I also like just from helping all the people. I'm like, okay, I know how this works.
Yep.
I kind of feel like that we all get to experience the sweater with whoever is teaching it at the time. I learned about
when we were at the yarn store, there were several projects that like everybody made that when I went to make myself, I had already knitted like empathetically so many times. The first thing that comes to mind is the peace shawl.
Yep.
I've never made one myself, but I had to have helped hundreds of people make it.
Yeah. And then you're like, I don't want to do this. I've already done this.
I literally did start it and I was like, ugh. No.
Got a few more things. So some of the yarn that we got I got when we were up in Cambria. I'm like, you know what? I need a project that is kind of mindless, and they're on size 13 needle. And at the time, I just bought 2 of these giant big balls of Barocco Dash.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I'll just make the scarf. I'll make the cowl because they're not cheap.
Mm-hmm.
But then I'm like, oh heck! Well, how about I just save them and make the thing I really want to make, which is the vest? Do I want to make the vest or the sweater? Yes, I want to do both. So I did go to yarn.com because they are cheaper. You get a discount.
Mm-hmm.
And that is on its way. But I did start. I thought I'm gonna just make. They don't all have to be the same color. I'm mixing up all the colors. I got like one of each.
Fun.
So the dashes, it's like a cream colored fat yarn, and it's really a chainette, but it's so fluffy it doesn't feel like a chainette.
It'll be fun because all the colors are the same background color.
It's all the same.
Yeah,
all of the balls, no matter what color the dashes are, have the same cream background. So it's going to almost be this little rainbow of dashes.
That's cute.
So I've got
Rainbow
that
dash.
going on. Rainbow Dash. What else? Okay, here's my tragic thing. I've been stocking. I really, really liked your faraway jumper.
Uh-huh.
And I really, really liked it. And I thought, okay, at one point, I was like, after I'd been working, I took it on the trip.
Yeah.
Worked on it on the trip. And then I'm like, oh, even though I'm mixing more colors farther down in the body of it, I don't think I was getting down to the bottom. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna have enough of the main color still.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, I think I just need 2, but I should order a third. Should I do order 3 or 4?
Uh-huh.
I ordered 3. I should have ordered 4.
Oh, no.
no.
I have been stalking UPS because it was supposed to come today. It was on the truck, but I live at the farthest point. And why won't they start in my town and work their way back to Ventura? So,
Well, because the UPS hub is just like right over there.
I know, but I was like, if they get back to my house soon enough, I can go pick it up and I can come back and I can be the last one. I can be working on it and let it be a finished object. No, that's never going to happen. But
on that wish.
all I have
Oh, look at that.
is the last,
Oh man.
is the cuff and a couple rows.
So close.
So
Jeez.
close.
It's
But
really cute.
it's like sunflowers on a May gray day.
Yeah.
Did you add any length to the body, or did you make it as the pattern set?
I made it as the pattern set.
Yeah.
Also,
do you
'cause I
like
was-
it? Have you tried it on?
I haven't tried it on. It is what it is. But you know what? I now have extra yarn once I finish.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I
you
know,
can always make it a
because I
little
know
longer.
how much it'll take for the cuff. I mean, for
Mhm.
the bottom ribbing.
Nice.
But I decided that it does look. It looks like it's a little going to be a little short, but I think it will stretch some. But also, I think it's meant to be between your waist and your hip, like a high
yeah,
hip.
and sweaters always, they don't look the same laying flat as they do on your body, so.
Yeah. It's not blocked or anything.
It's cute.
And this is in Swish DK. So, so Knit Picks is like, they did send it pretty quick. It's just UPS is like, why can't you go to my house first? I mean, I could have gone. I was out here all day. I would have gone home, got it, but you know what? It's okay. It's not like I don't have other things to do. So I got some earth yarn when we were on the trip,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't make anything with it. But I like the earth yarn, so I got some other yarn, and I'm making a scarf with it's kind of like a little bit of a
That's
sampler of
fun.
2 different things, and it uses a solid earth yarn, and then it uses a fingering weight. Both of them are fingering weight, and like the background is black, and then the other one, Earth URTH, is one of those long color repeat self-striping
Uh-huh.
blended type of yarn that one of our members, Minty, turned me on to, and I kind of love it.
What's the name of the pattern?
It's Prismarine Scarf,
Cool.
and that's a knit thing to do. But they also have the Unique has their own Tunisian reversible scarf, which is done with their worsted weight version, and it's a Tunisian chevron.
Oh, that's
Oh, fun.
fun.
Okay, it's fun because it lets the colors sort of change, and you get different colors on the forward pass than you get on the return pass. The way they overlap.
Cute.
And yeah, at least one of these, I think the Tunisian one for sure will be a class sample, because I think that would be a fun teaching how to do a chevron, increases and decreases, but in a scarf, not in a big project, but just
Right.
in something.
Like a big blanket or something.
Yeah. So, other than that, I think I covered everything. I have a design that's coming out this summer as a collaboration with Aquarius Make Yarns. And it's going to be, what is it going to be? It's going to be 2 big rectangles thrown together. I don't want to call it a poncho, because I was looking it up, and poncho actually has specific cultural meaning, and it's not my culture, so I'm calling it a mantle. It's covering your shoulders. It doesn't really have sleeves, like a poncho doesn't have sleeves. It just and I can at least show you my swatches. So I've talked to a couple different Tunisian designers,
Ooh.
and I'm like, have you seen this stitch before? I haven't seen this, and I looked it up, and I sort of mixed different stitches. It's like a Catherine wheel, but it's also kind of like a broomstick lace,
cool.
and it's done in Tunisian. So it's I'm loving how it comes out, and it can be reversible. Actually, the backside's kind of nice too. But so I just called it a Twisted Kate with a C. And the body of it will be just in this stitch. I mean, it works up pretty quickly, even though it's on a US 7 hook.
Uh-huh.
Each row is half an inch.
Nice.
So it goes. It's lacy.
It's a yarn eater.
It's a yarn eater. Yeah, and it really does. I'm kind of surprised how much yarn it takes. But on the other hand, because I'm like, wait a minute. I was trying to do my yardage estimates because I'm going to have it in 13 sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because that's the number of sizes I like when I'm designing garments. And I'm like, does it really have to? It's lace. It's that open. Does it really use that much? But I measured my weight and I feel like this is still crochet.
Yeah.
It still eats more yarn.
Also, the other name for Catherine's wheel is the yarn eater, I thought.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
That's what.
Oh.
Remember, that's what Elisa used
It's like
to
a yarn
teach
eater
it as.
scarf. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I could see that. Also, I'm doing these Tunisian double crochets, but I'm doing the knitwise into the stitch to open it up a little differently. So that's a little different. But anyway,
That
means nothing to me.
Exceeded my knowledge of Tunisian crochet.
well, usually you have let's say you have 2 legs on a stitch, right?
Yeah.
Mostly in Tunisian crochet, you only have 1 leg facing the public.
Okay.
And so you have this vertical bar.
Yeah.
And everything, oftentimes, most of your stitches are only worked in that vertical bar. And so that your hook never goes to the back of the work. It's always just kind of tucking in behind that vertical bar. The front leg. So knitwise is where you're going in and to the back, and it makes it look like knitting.
Oh, neat.
But it's with a crochet hook.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to make the stitch kind of open up and lay flat and have a different look, that's what I did.
Nice.
So
I say when I want my fabric to look like knitting,
you knit. You just knit.
No, Tunisian's fun.
It is. I mean, if I don't have to worry about dropping a stitch because it's only going to go one way.
Yep.
That's
One
true.
place. It's not dropping all the way.
That's
Of
true.
course, if I make a mistake, I do have to rip a lot more back, but I can't just spot fix it like I can in knitting. Anyway, that's where I went crazy. I did work more on the. You know what? No, I don't think. I think since we last talked, I don't think I've really worked any more on the camper quilt because
Yeah.
I got to focus on my husband's quilt.
Cool. Okay. Well, we can do finished stuff for now.
Sure. What did you finish, Katie?
I finished the quilt top for the Poppin' Posies quilt.
All right, let's see it.
I didn't bring it with me because I forgot, but I have a picture of it. There's it laid out in my living room.
Oh, it turned out really cute.
Oh, it came out really cute.
Yeah.
And you're keeping that one, right? Or are you
it's
gifting
a secret.
Yeah.
It's a secret.
I can't
gift.
say what its intended use is, but it is my idea was like a really 70s kind of color palette. So I've got like salmony pinks, like what do you call it? Avocado greens, some like sunflowery yellows, and then the checkerboard blocks that go in between are like chocolate brown and off-white. And after I finish it, I kind of regret that I didn't use like a soft pink or something for in place of the white, like a warmer color,
Oh.
like a really light peach or something. I still really like it, but
Yeah,
I'm
it
like,
looks
it
really
could have been
cute.
like, there's just I'm like, oh, I wish it was a different color.
It's maybe a little groovier, like 60s-ish.
Yes.
With the white.
Yeah. And I really am
It's
happy with
super
it,
cute.
how it turned out. I haven't quilted it yet, but I think it's gonna be very cute when it is done.
Way cute.
So I finished that.
Oh, I forgot quilt tops go in. What do you finish?
I count them as what you
Yeah.
finished. You can count them as in progress if you want, but I
We'll
think
see
a quilt
what-
top
we'll
is
see
on
what
its own.
works. Yeah.
Yeah.
A quilt is really 2 projects in one.
Right?
Okay.
Really?
All right, I'm gonna remember that for later.
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
I've
like
got
You
more
finished
quilts
it.
in
Maybe the
mind.
whole quilt's
It's
not
like
finished.
3. You gotta
Yeah,
make
3.
the top. You gotta quilt it, and then you gotta bind it. And I feel like
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Maybe I just want to add more
3
things
in
to my
1.
list.
I mean, I don't know about the binding. We'll have to have a ruling on. You know what it is? Is whatever you wanted.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
feel
want it
like
to be 3
okay,
projects.
I
great.
feel like binding is in that same category of does it count if you haven't woven in the ends?
Oh.
Yeah, it's not finished until
It-
you have finished sewing the binding on, which you could do either.
Oh, but we said you don't have to weave in your ends.
Oh,
Count it as
that's
finished.
true.
That's what I'm
Well, I mean,
saying.
you can't. I guess you could use a quilt with the binding. Well, no, because then it's
You
just
can-
gonna
no,
fall
no.
apart.
You can zigzag the edges and make it
I
like a
suppose
raw
that's true.
edge. It doesn't look great, but
Don't be using your quilts if you haven't bound it yet.
Yeah. I say that
You
that
will be
doesn't
sad.
work that way.
But I'm comfortable with the 3 project layers. So I'll
Maybe-
just remember that for later.
Maybe weaving in ends is like the fancy people in quilting who bury their ends.
Oh.
Because I ain't doing that.
No.
But I guess some fancy people do, so
That
that's
is
probably
true,
the
they
equivalent,
do.
right?
If I was more disciplined, but I'm just too lazy to do that. I just tack in place.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
I'm okay with that. It's not going into a competition or a show. So
yeah, if I'm confident that it's not going to fall apart, then it's good enough for me.
Close enough is good enough. Isn't that what we say?
I also made a bunch, just like in the last couple days. I have been getting I have been getting into playing D&D, which is not something that I have ever done before.
All right.
But James is like the master, right? So
that's what the cam snaps are for. Oh, I'm so excited.
So James is like running this campaign with his cousin and like some friends, and like I'm friends with all of them. So I've just been going to hang out while they play, which is fun. But then like, you guys sound like you're having fun. I kind of want to play. Yeah. So James is teaching me how to play. I haven't jumped in yet, but as I am wont to do when I have a new thing that I am excited about, I want to buy and own all of the accompanying things that go with said thing, right? So I made a dice tray for myself, which I forgot to grab when I left the house, but I have the fabric that I made it out of so you can see. Oh, I just knocked that with my elbow. So I have this.
That's perfect.
Yep. I have this dice fabric from.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a Ruby Star fabric.
I love it. Just as fabric, because it's perfect color.
Yes, it's like a nice like cyan blue, with a little white dice on it. Die. They're just the 6-sided die, which I showed James. I was like, "Look at this dice fabric." He's like, "They're only 6-sided die," and I was like, "Okay, whatever."
Well, like a lot of the world just uses 6-sided
right?
die.
I'm like, sorry, they didn't have D20 fabric at Super Buzzy today. So I made one
got a
for.
chart for you if you ever need it.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. I made one for myself, and then I made 4 more so I can take it to the
D&D
to my
party.
friends and see if anybody wants one. But basically, it's like 2 pieces of fabric with some interfacing in the middle to give it some like sturdiness, with snaps on the edges so that you can like snap the little edges closed, and it makes a little tray. So it's like a little rectangle tray that you sit on the table. You can roll your dice in it so they don't roll all over the place. I based the pattern. James has like a real one that he bought on Amazon or whatever. So I just stole the measurements from it. And I was like really overthinking it when I was like contemplating how to make this. I was like, well, I have really stiff interfacing. I could put at the bottom and then knot up the sides because then it wouldn't bend and then it wouldn't like lay right. Like, I don't know what I got really like bogged down into it. Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess what would happen if I just put like, I think it's 2 layers of like the shape flex interfacing.
Yeah.
And it works just fine. And I was like, why was I overthinking this so much? So I have one that's black and red with like skulls and roses. This is all just stuff from my stash. Fun. So that's the first one.
I just love you had that in your stash. Something with skulls and roses in it.
I made a project bag for somebody because they're a crocheter. Years ago when I saw this fabric, I was like, this is perfect for them. They also happen to be in the D&D group. So I'm like, hey, I still have that fabric left. Let's see if they want one.
That's fantastic.
And then I have this purple and white dotty print. I don't know. I found that in my stash. This bug fabric I love it. This was a tote bag I made for James, and I just had a tiny little bit left. And then the last one is this little blue triangle-y print one. So I made a bunch of those.
I'm going to have to show that to Alexander when we post this because he's way into D&D.
Yeah.
He's in 2 games. And maybe that's what he'll need to make his friend.
I will share my very remedial pattern if you want it.
It's fantastic, though. Cause
my measurements. Yeah. Yeah, they're really fun. And it's like I said, I didn't want to think too hard about anything, so I just dove into my stash and made a bunch of these.
Nice.
And thank you to Karin for providing the cam snaps because she was using
It's
them. And I said, hey, can I have those?
Yep. And it had lots of colors.
Yep.
So I was happy to lend a help to the cause.
Those are going to be a hit.
Yeah. So I made the dice tray for myself out of the dice fabric, and I also made a little matching zipper bag out of it for, dice and all that other good stuff.
I see future, boutique projects.
Maybe.
That's a highly specific market.
I mean, you don't have to call it a dice tray. It could be any kind of tray.
It's a tray.
The other cool thing about these, which I figured out, is like they're flat, right? So it's easy to take with you. You can also fold them and like snap them to themselves so it's even smaller
Oh,
to like fit in your backpack or whatever.
cute.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was pretty proud of those.
Yeah, really cool.
That's about all that I finished lately.
But you're right. It's
a couple
just a
sewing
tray.
projects.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, those are really fun. We got Alexander a dice castle for
Mhm.
Christmas, where you roll
A tower.
Yeah. Dice tower. Thank you. And it was hard to shop for that because there's a lot,
Yeah.
and some of them are very intricate
Yes.
and made of all kinds of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to get. A lot of people make a lot of accessories
Yeah.
for tabletop gaming, because I told James, I was like, what do I need? He's like, well, you don't really need anything.
Yeah, your
And I'm like,
imagination, a notebook.
But I
and some
want
dice.
stuff, so
Yeah.
like, what do I need?
Well, and then all the cool dice is
Yeah.
a whole nother world.
Yeah,
I've
we
been
went-
following this girl who does resin dice, but a set is like $160.
Have you seen the squishy dice? I've came across this person on Instagram who makes big D20 dice, but they're silicone. And they work as a dice, but they're squishy. And I'm like,
That is
I want a
so
squishy
cool.
dice.
Yeah.
They're very funny.
I'm
I'll
writing
see
that
if I
down,
can find
squishy
the...
dice.
I saved them on Etsy because I was like, I want that.
That sounds like Adventures in Jelly.
It's very similar, like same vibes, because they'll like post a picture of them, and I'm like, oh, I want that.
Cool.
Let's see if I still have it in my cart on Etsy. I don't think I do. Yeah. So we went to the comic book game store, and I bought some dice, and yeah, I'm excited. We're supposed to. Well, they're meeting to play this Sunday. I have to work on Sunday, so I'm bummed I won't be able to jump in, but that's all right.
What kind of character will you build?
I am not sure yet. I am working on it.
Cool.
There's a lot to learn.
Right, I know. I'm like,
I am so confused.
I tried and I got overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
then Alexander tried to lead us through something, and we got like bogged down and stuck in a cave or something. And he still wanted us to progress, and
Yeah.
none of us were making choices that would progress us.
Yeah.
I don't
So-
have a skill set to get myself out of a bog cave.
Right, right, and thus ended my idea that we would have like a Sunday night family
Yeah.
D&D, because it's right. Everybody's the right age and like
That's a
It's
good
into
title.
it.
yeah.
When you find yourself stuck in a bog cave.
The person who is in charge of running the game is called the Dungeon Master.
Mhm.
So it is very convenient for me that I am married to and live with the Dungeon Master, because I can be like, I'm confused. What does this mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm like reading through my little player's handbook, and I'm like, I don't know what any of this means. And he's
Yeah.
like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Because if I was on my own, I would be like, nope, can't do it.
That's the thing.
Too many things to learn.
It's kind of a steep learning curve.
Yes, very much so.
But it does seem really fun.
Yeah.
I have finished a few things. First, I'm going to show you my scraps.
Okay.
So, Dante, every few years I make him a bunch of pajama pants. He has grown about 6 inches since the last time I did it, which I think in 2021 I gave him a week's worth of pajama pants for as part of his birthday. And those have been destroyed and not appropriate for public consumption. Also, they're about 6 inches too short, so it's hilarious when he puts them on. And I was like, it was worth it to me to like add that on or that as a purchase to go make an excuse to go to M&L in Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
But their flat folds, the flannel's up to $3.99,
Uh-huh.
which you might as well just go to Joann's when their super snuggle flannel is on sale.
Right.
It's not worth driving to Orange County for that. So it was down to $2.99 for their Memorial Day sale.
At M&L.
No, at
At Joann's.
Joann's. So I got this cute doggy fabric. It's
Cute.
kind of
They are really
autumnal. And when it was being rolled out, the girl cutting the fabric and this older lady came up and they're like, "Oh, that's so cute." I'm like, "Yeah, that's as cute as you can get with a 15-year-old boy. It's okay because it's all dogs."
Yeah, it's very cute.
This one was lusted after in my cart, and I had to like kind of like growl a little bit, you know, like,
Step
just
off
get
my
a
fabric.
little bit like that's my cart. Because it's a light blue background and red, white, and blue video game themed with
That's
like
so
stars on the
cool.
screen. So this girl walks by and she's like, "It's a patriotic themed video game." Like, well, yeah, it is. Get away.
It's
Stop
my
looking at my fabric.
patriotic video game.
The next one is navy background with a bunch of to-go coffee cups, and they have cute things on them that say like "Good morning, wake up juice."
Cute.
Then a blue kind of navy themed camo. And these are the black background ones. A classic arcade game.
Mm-hmm.
The planets in like kind of a cutesy, cartoony way, but not too cute. And then spacemen doing things like playing catch with meteors and riding. What are those called? When you go on the snow on a skateboard.
A snowboard?
Snowboard. Thank you.
You know, one of those snow skateboards.
Those.
It's an overlapping skill set.
It's possible if you can do one, you have a better chance of doing the other.
Yeah, they're kicking like soccer balls. The meteorites do. It's cute.
Cute.
So 7 pairs of pajama pants. And
That's a lot of pajama pants.
I wanted the lazy pattern. Sold out. And you know it comes in two versions. One that's like a family version.
Oh, yeah.
And both versions all sold out. So I bought the next best simple pattern that was easy, but in 2 pieces instead of 1. And he likes a couple of pairs of commercially made pants because they have pockets, he was telling me. And I said, yeah, in the last batch I couldn't put pockets in because it's a lazy pattern. But you know what's terrible, kid? I could have put pockets in this group. But I didn't.
I was talking to James because I've made him pajama pants many times. And I was like, you need new pajama pants. He's like, yeah. Can you please put pockets in these next ones? And I'm like, okay, fine.
Well, if you're only making 1 or 2, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But if I'm batch sewing a week's worth.
Yeah, no, that's
not happening.
too much work. But
Okay, so I did finish the baby size of the Cozy Cabin quilt.
Aw. Well, that's so sweet.
This one's the same pink background, but with like a bright pink and green and yellow polka dots. This one's 6 different fat quarters.
That's so cute.
And then I found a really cute flannel to back it.
Nice.
And I just did straight line quilting, and it's bound. So
love it.
This is definitely a finished quilt.
Totally finished.
So this is 3 finished objects right here.
That's yep. I'll count it.
Counts as 3.
So I decided I could go ahead with the quilt pattern because Kevin said, "Hey, I need a baby gift," and I was like, "Perfect! I can make the baby size of this. It's only 6 fat quarters, and I'll actually do a few because I like to like find some fun project, make a cache of them, and then he sticks them in his classroom when he needs them."
Mm-hmm.
So I worked on this one. It took about a week of like times that I was here, so maybe 2 or 3. I think it was 3 big chunks of time. And I cut out the pieces for this one, and I cut out the pieces for mine, and got to work. I come home and I show him the finished quilt, and he is appropriately impressed.
Mm-hmm.
His eyes get all big, but then he makes this other face.
Oh.
And this is when I get to be mean. So
Okay.
I know. There was a shortage ban being mean. So I don't really like PE teachers.
Okay.
I have like a lot of trauma from PE.
Fair.
So like you could tell me all the wonderful things you did, culminating into you being nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize, and then tell me that you were a PE teacher, and it would just all erase for me.
Yep.
So
just negated all your goodwill.
I'm sorry if you're a PE teacher and you're listening. You're probably a good person because you like crafty things. Anyway, he looks at it and he's like, "Anne, this is for one of the PE teachers." I was like, "Why didn't you tell me that to start with?" "Oh, because you were afraid I wouldn't even come up with anything." Which is not true. So we're putting this away for some other future school baby.
Okay.
And he's like, "All I was hoping
Jelly
for..."
roll run for the...
No. It's like, all I wanted was like a little hat. Because that was one of the, like 2 times ago I made
I could do that.
half a dozen hats in different colors because they were also samples for the video class. So when I was done with them, I'm like, "Here you go. Here's your next 6 baby gifts."
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all he was imagining. And to his credit, he gave me a 2-week notice on that.
For one baby hat? That's plenty.
But he didn't specify that. He's like, "I just need a baby gift. I'm out." And like, so I was like, "Excellent. I'm going to impress him with this quilt." So instead, I improvised this cute little baby hat.
Oh, I love it when they got the little tie
Cute.
on
It
top.
has an umbilical cord and, ending,
Cute little
which is-
cables
Oh,
in the
very
cables
sweet.
in the
And then,
ribbing.
just a 2-stitch cable in the ribbing, and then I did it as a detail in the decreases too.
Oh, cute.
So it's this one of the Lion brand yarns that's like feels like butter or something,
Oh, yeah.
and it's 100% nylon, which I don't know about,
Ooh.
but it's very soft.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's 246 yards, and I got 3 of these little hats
Nice.
out of that.
That's great.
Yeah. So I have a blue and a yellow, and I'll make him sets out of those too. And he'll be 9 babies in before he has to pick a worthy teacher to receive the quilt. Yeah.
Nice.
I love it.
And then I finished my June hats, which are a fun slip stitch pattern where you can make 2 hats out of your ingredients, and one has, they're in black and white, so one has the slip stitch detail boldly in white or cream, and the other one has it in black. And then you put a pom-pom on that's multicolor, which I do still need to add the pom-poms.
Cute.
But the hats are done. They've been done for a little while because it's a fun, quick pattern. And that is the end.
Nice.
5 hats, 1 quilt, 7 pajama pants.
That's a lot of things.
Yes. I like volume.
That's good. That makes it for me because I did nothing.
You did nothing.
I
You
did
started
nothing.
things.
I finished nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes
fine.
It's the balance of the universe.
That's
when you're
right.
having a starting month.
Totally. Okay.
The end.
Anybody have
What are we
anything they're
obsessed
obsessed with, excited about? I guess I have to go first.
with? Yeah.
We have Apple TV Plus, and they just came out with a 2nd season of Prehistoric Planet, which is it's sort of like if Planet Earth was about dinosaurs.
Mhm.
So David Attenborough narrates it, and I think this season is like 5 or 6 episodes long. I don't remember. But yeah, it's fun. It's we love a good nature documentary, and these are fun because it's like, oh, I didn't know anything about all these cool dinosaurs and stuff, and it's fascinating and it's done really well. Like the CGI is mind-boggling. So I highly recommend. We blew through that when it came out, but it was very fun to watch.
I watched the first season with my family. It was very entertaining.
Loved it. That's it.
That's your obsession.
That's my one thing.
Awesome. How about you, Karin?
I have 2 obsessions.
Okay. Tell us all about them.
One helps the other.
Oh, good.
Okay.
So I've been working on getting my hair in good condition.
Mhm.
Of course, in 2 weeks, I'm going to chop about 5 inches off. I'm going to go for a chop. But in the meantime, I'm trying to keep the scalp and everything. So I'd heard about fermented rice. And I thought the only thing is fermented rice water is really stinky.
Mm.
As
So-
many fermented things are.
So instead, I am fermenting it in coconut water.
Ooh.
Because coconut water is good for your hair and your scalp. It's also, your hair feels so silky. You just
Nice.
on wash days. But then what do you do? Because I only need the water. What do I do with the rice? I
don't
grow the
know.
fermented rice in my garden, particularly in my worm farm, which I'm obsessed with.
So you have a lot of drunk worms.
Are you guys traumatized by worms?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Sometimes some squirming things can be triggering for me, but no, that's not.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's so fun to see.
They're
Worms.
like happy.
They're like super happy. They're like, I mean, one of the rice kind of stuck to it as it's going along. I've got that in the back bed that needed a lot of help, and I'm obsessed with my garden.
What are you growing? What's coming up first?
Well, the beans are taking forever because they need warm sunshine, and they're not getting that, and they're looking kind of anemic. But the tomatoes are loving it. The berries are going crazy.
Nice.
We've got blackberries from last year. It's kind of crazy how if you actually give them food, they grow lots of berries, so they're going crazy. I'm growing potatoes.
That's
so
cool.
I'll show you the video for that because so I did a short little video of a walk into my garden.
Oh,
And,
Oh yeah, I saw that on Instagram today.
Yeah, and
nice video.
thank you. And but wait till you get to. So someone else I know from Instagram and from the design world, she had this great idea to go to the dollar store and get like waste baskets, like the just the plastic ones, drill holes in the bottom and make grow potatoes in them. Mm-hmm. Our local one doesn't have that. So I did get the ones from Green Thumb that are just like those cloth felt one, gray felt. You start off by by only putting about 4 inches of dirt in, and you put your potatoes in, you just barely cover it. And as the plants grow, you throw some more dirt in. Mm-hmm. And they grow some more, and you throw some dirt in. And now I'm just about at the top of my thing. And hopefully I'll get a bunch of baby Yukon Gold potatoes.
That's cool.
Yummy.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So that and cool. The berries are huge. You can tell by the size of the flower. Mm-hmm. We had really, really big flowers. And so now the berries are going to be big.
Yum.
But they're like staying green for a long time because, no sunshine.
Yeah. I thought you were excited about the gray.
I am, but I'm also impatient. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
That's fair.
You can be two things at once. You're a dynamic person.
And by having raised beds and the watering system is like the sweat ones, we're not just like wasting a lot of water. It holds water pretty efficiently. We don't have to water that often, at least not yet. Mm-hmm. And I planted a bunch of stuff from seed, so it's an inexpensive way. Most of that was from seed. I think the tomato plants weren't, and I have a Carolina Reaper pepper plant that I'm waiting, but it's not doing very well. Again, peppers need sunshine.
They do.
If any of you guys would like some of my Carolina Reapers, my family thinks I'm trying to kill them.
Yeah, I would also think that if you presented me with it.
Here,
I like a little
I'll
heat,
put it in my kimchi.
Yeah, I like a little heat, but that's a little high on the Scoville scale for me. I am obsessed with a real downer.
Oh.
Have you guys watched The House of Hammer?
The House of Hammer?
Yeah. It's the documentary about how disgusting Army Hammer is.
Oh, no. I haven't.
It's worth watching because some things are worth bearing witness to. Mm-hmm. And it's sort of like shocking in my own brain. Every time they show him, he is so extremely handsome.
Yeah.
But he is so extremely awful.
Yeah.
He's really a bad guy. So I was Googling like things about him that were coming up. And I think it was shown to me on whatever it's called now, Max.
Right.
Instead of HBO Max.
Yeah.
And I think it was trending because it was revealed yesterday, sometime during the day, on 31st of May, that he will not be charged with any of the sexual assault charges that were being levied.
Nice.
Wow.
Even though, in his own text messages, he says what he did.
Right.
How?
And
did he plea bargain?
No, he's just not being charged because you should watch it because it's so enlightening. The Armand Hammer family and its tentacles and tendrils that have woven their way into the 20th and 21st century are everywhere.
Wow.
And like Armie Hammer's grandfather murdered someone in cold blood, and his father was able to get him off with a bribe.
Wow.
Gross.
Yeah. So, that's what's ping-ponging around in my brain right now, is this bad guy.
Is that stuff?
Yeah. It's a really interesting documentary because he targeted absolutely stunning women and then destroyed them. Mm-hmm. And you look at these people who present their lives so perfectly on Instagram, and the courage it takes to show that their lives weren't perfect,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And the abuse that they suffered at someone's hands has inspired other people who aren't necessarily victims of this victimizer, to be able to have the strength to get out of their bad situations too. Anyways, it's
yeah.
It's heavy stuff, but I think it bears witness, and I don't think I'll ever be able to watch that guy or financially support anything that he's a part of Because that's the next step, is rehabbing his image and
I really
him being
hope.
hired in
I really
Hollywood
hope
again.
that he can't rehab it. I really hope that he may have gotten away with this, with what he's been doing, but I hope that it's still a career record for him.
I hope so too, but I don't have a lot of faith.
People have short memories.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in media consumers.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I was sitting there watching this, hearing about the horrifying things he had done, and admitted to in like that all these women have text chains with, and some have pictures. Like, and I'm still looking at him thinking, he's so handsome.
Yeah.
You
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, both things can be true, but
Yeah.
it's sad that your first thought isn't necessarily like, ew, look at this piece of shit. You're like, oh, look at this handsome man, right?
Oh, that's a nice picture of
This
him.
handsome piece of shit.
Yeah. Ay. Yeah, a little bit of a downer, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. So, but that's my current obsession. That's
Yeah,
what my brain's
that's fine.
very focused
It's
on.
not
right
always
now.
fun and games, right?
No. But it's a worthwhile watch if you are like feeling particularly emotionally strong.
Okay.
It's a good watch.
Good to know.
I wouldn't recommend it on just any Tuesdays to watch.
Right.
Be prepared.
Okay. Well, I think we've reached the end of our podcast. Guys, we're only at
That's
56
swift.
minutes. How did we do that? Karen didn't have anything finished, so we got to skip over a chunk, but
It's okay.
that's
'Cause
crazy.
By next month, I'll have a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make up for our,
That was a short
our
and sweet
low
one.
volume.
Yeah, with my slump and everything, there's just not a whole lot going on with me.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I tried to carry
you
my
really
weight here,
did
guys.
you did the heavy lifting on this one, I think, for sure. Well, thank you everybody for listening. Make sure you check out our Patreon if you're interested in supporting us and getting some bonus content. That's at patreon.com/stringsunraveled. And check out all the fun classes we've got going on right now on our website at stringsandthingsstudio.com. You could follow us on Instagram at stringsandthingsstudio. We'll post pictures of all the things that we chatted about today. So if you want to see what those look like, that would be there. But yeah, other than that, we'll catch up with you guys next month.
Yeah, have a nice June.
Yep. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Strings Unraveled is a production of Strings and Things Studio with Anne Leckervin Cazzoli, Kaity Von Rader-Fraker, and Karin Wilmoth. Recorded and edited by Kaity Von Rader-Fraker. Find us online at stringsandthingsstudio.com or on Facebook or Instagram at Strings and Things Studio. You can email us at stringsandthingsinfo@gmail.com.